Could Joe Boyle take Taj Bradley's spot in the Rays rotation? Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball Today Express. Welcome into FBT Express on Thursday, June 19th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White. The top prospects to stash. It's going to sound a lot like last week's list. Logan Henderson of the Brewers, Chandler Simpson of the Rays, Chase Burns of the Reds, who has moved up the list, Bubba Chandler of the Pirates, and Joe Boyle, who, after another pretty bad start from Taj Bradley, Scott, I'm starting to think maybe Joe Boyle could get a shot here. Take Taj Bradley's spot. What do you think?
Well, before we get to Boyle, I think the biggest things to point out here, and you mentioned one already, Chase Burns is up, but also Bubba Chandler is down. Bubba Chandler, who has been on this list every single week this season, sinking like a stone. You would imagine with the passage of time, he'd be all the more close to joining the Pirates, but he's kind of not pitching all that well. So over his last 8 starts, he's thrown just 59% of his pitches for strikes. That is terrible. And he has a 3.60 ERA during that time. 20 walks in 30 innings is what that amounts to. And he hasn't had a 5 inning start in his last 3 turns. So I kind of get why the Pirates haven't called up Bubba Chandler yet, and I'm not sure they should. There aren't a lot of candidates to replace him on this list entirely, so he's still on it, but he's definitely dropped behind Burns, who now has made 2 AAA starts, and this latest one here on Wednesday was spectacular, as pretty much they've all been, pretty much all of his minor league starts, but he had 7 innings this time, did Chase Burns, and in those 7 innings, struck out 7, only 1 run allowed. I believe, I think he had like 17 swinging strikes or something. It's the exact numbers aren't really that important. It just continues a trend of dominance for the 2nd overall pick in the draft last year, a guy with a killer fastball and slider, who looks like he's not being challenged at all on the minors, and it would be certainly not unprecedented for a pitcher with that kind of pedigree making this kind of work of the minors to get called up that abruptly. I mean, the Pirates did it with Paul Skeens last year. So I don't know. We're getting toward the end of June now. If the Reds don't think they're going to make a sincere playoff push, it's just a couple more months until they call him up and potentially preserve his rookie eligibility for next year, which has certain incentives. So I can't say for sure that Burns is a couple weeks away from being promoted, but he might be. He might be with his as well as he's performed in the minors. So that's why he's 3rd on the list. Status quo, I would say, for the top 2 names on this list, Logan Henderson and Chandler Simpson, who have already shown they can be successful in the majors, at least from a fantasy perspective. We were worried about innings management for Henderson, but they've kind of let that go. He's gone 5 innings or more in his last 2 starts at AAA. So I'm not sure that's a huge incentive, a major reason why he's down. And next time Brewers have an opening, especially now that Jacob Mizorowski is up, I expect Henderson to fill it. So getting back to your original question about our guy, Joe Boyle, is it time for them to swap out Taj Bradley for him? I mean, it's kind of been time. It's kind of amazing, especially given how dispensable the Rays are with their pitchers, how dispensably they treat them, that they've just had the same 5 all season long. They called up Joe Boyle, remember, for a spot start on April 13th. He threw 5 no-hit innings against the Braves, and they haven't managed to bring him back since, even though, get a load of these numbers, since being sent back to AAA, since that spot start where he no-hit the Braves over 5, Joe Boyle has a 1.41 ERA in 10 turns.
Mm.
He has, got to do some quick math here. He has a 0.86 whip in those 10 turns. He has 11.1 K per 9 in those 10 turns. And most importantly of all, he's thrown 64% of his pitches for strikes, which isn't a great number, but it's a great number for Joe Boyle. Like, the Rays seem to have gotten past the control issue that's plagued him his entire professional career. I don't know if Taj Bradley, if that's really going to make it, if they're really ready to option him. He does have a couple options. It could happen. But something's going to happen. Something has to give in that rotation eventually. A lot of young pitchers there. Attrition will have its say at some point. And I think you want to have Joe Boyle stashed whenever that happens.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll talk about some more prospects right after this. Welcome back in FBT Express, and let's take a look at the top prospects on the periphery right now. And this group includes Bryce Matthews, a shortstop with the Astros, Travis Sikora, pitcher with the Nationals, Max Anderson, a second baseman with the Tigers, Brock Wilken, third baseman with the Brewers, and Esmeralyn Valdez, an outfielder with the Pirates. Scott, what do you have on this group?
So Bryce Matthews mostly playing second base at AAA. The Astros don't really have a long-term plan there now that Jose Altuve is primarily an outfielder. And he's hitting well at AAA. He does have some swing and miss issues, particularly on pitches in the zone. And that's concerning. That makes Bryce Matthews less than a sure thing. But he's performed in the minors. He can hit the ball hard. I could see him playing a major role in the second half for the Astros. Travis Sikora, Chase Burns is the top pitching prospect in baseball, and it would be hard to put Travis Sikora ahead of Andrew Painter, Bubba Chandler, the guys we've all been waiting for. But I think once that group graduates, Travis Sikora of the Nationals is pretty clearly going to be the best pitching prospect. You'd be hard-pressed to find a minor league pitcher with better numbers than him the last 2 years. He recently moved up to high A, so getting against starting to face some legit competition now. And he's begun to work 5 innings with consistency. He's done it 3 starts in a row. Travis Sikora, since moving up to high A, 14.8 K per 9, a 128 batting average against, 6'6" frame. He's still growing into it. The best may be yet to come. Really impressive pitcher is Travis Sikora. Max Anderson of the Tigers. He is somebody who can only play second base and not very well, so he needs to hit, but he is hitting. 347 batting average with 11 homers and 977 OPS at AA for Max Anderson. And he was a second-round pick 2 years ago. Like, this is the pro player he profiled as. Doesn't have great on-base skills, which puts a lot of pressure on that batting average, which is we don't see a lot of high batting averages in the majors these days, so it's not a sure thing that Max Anderson will work, but it's an interesting profile, and he's certainly doing it at AA. Brock Wilken was the 18th pick in the 2023 draft, and was kind of got a lot of attention in dynasty leagues heading into last year, ended up having a horrible season. Well, it turns out on April 11th of that year, 2024, took a fastball to the face, needed facial reconstruction surgery, and came back and just did not look the same. Had his vision tested. Apparently the injury, the recovery wreaked havoc on his depth perception. It measured in only the 50th percentile. So he spent the offseason doing eye therapy and rehabilitation, and got off to a slow start this year. It wasn't clear that it had an effect, all the work he put in with his eyes. But suddenly he's turned it on here. Last 13 games, Brock Wilken batting .340 with 6 homers and 9 doubles. A guy who, in theory, has a lot of power, a lot of on-base ability. Hopefully, the hard work he's put in is helping him get back on track after that devastating injury early last year. And then finally, Esmeralyn Valdez of the Pirates. In high A, always had good power. He worked to develop a flatter bat path this offseason, has cut his strikeouts way down, and is putting up huge numbers at high A. If you're looking for a a really deep name there. Esmeralyn Valdez is a riser.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to our full-length podcast, Fantasy Baseball Today, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today Express, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.